Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Expert Mind, a podcast series where we connect with leaders, innovators, and subject matter experts from diverse industries and explore how experts sees the world differently. Not just what they know, but how they think, decide, and create impact. See, as we know, every expert carries a lens shaped by experiences, failures, breakthroughs, and the unseen moments that never make it to a resume. And our goal is simple to explore real experiences, practical insights, and the human stories behind a successful careers. Today, we have with us someone whose work has shaped the field of cosmetics in a remarkable ways. Please join me in welcoming Suraj Choudhary, who, who brings more than 11 years of deep experiences in technical R&D for personal care, sun care, women hygiene, cosmetic, and with a career spanning product technology, project management, and custom or client driven innovations. Today, we have Suraj who is joining with us. Let's understand the world through your lenses, Suraj.
Thank you, Naman, for having me here and for your kind words. I'm really excited to share my journey ahead with you all.
Thank you, Suraj, for joining with us. Let's start at the beginning. If you look back at your journey, there always one shift, a shift moment, right? A moment where the path you are on a suddenly becomes clear that, okay, can you take us back to that moment when you realized that this field was not just a job, but it's your calling?
Coming to this question, Naman, the shift moment, I would rather say the self realization moment. When I look back, it came somewhere in the very early stage of my career, somewhere in the very early initial years of my career when I was working in the very first step at the cosmetic space in R&D. At that time, there were a lot of things for new for me, but it's all started well, and I got my very first experience there. But before going into that, I would rather, want to thank you, one of my very old mentor at that time, Dr. Uday from university, who actually gave me the idea to move into the R&D space of cosmetics. So that was the one, the guy who helped me out to move into this direction. Coming to the question on this part, the very first understanding came out when the very first product got launched in the initial year of my working during those days. So, being a formulator, or if you ask any formulator, they will always have a different feeling when they get their first product get launched into the market and reaching to the consumers. So it is a different kick altogether, which generally happens. So that was my first kick, which came through, and now the product is also a household name right now. So it's a different feeling altogether. So that was my very first shift moment, which made me fall for it, and now I'm irrecoverable from that space.
Wow, that's really great. So you have 11 years of experience. You have spent more than 11 years basically in this domain. So what has changed now, and what has stayed surprisingly the same?
Critically, Namank, there are two things which I feel here. So, if you ask me what is unchanged, so the love among the people for their, self care, keeping the skin, the body, everything, into the right directions by using the cosmetics or personal care products. That's remain unchanged right now.
Hmm?
The change happened is at the product level, where the product pitch itself has changed.
Okay.
If you ask me from any perspective, whether it is the innovation, the R&D, the product, the likability, even the marketing understanding, how the launch method went through, even the consumer behavior has changed everything. So the change is completely into the direction of the product launch and understanding among the consumers. And if you ask me the advent of it, so somewhere in 2019, I would rather say pre-COVID level, it all
Yeah.
started.
Okay.
COVID gave the boost to this direction.
Okay.
So now we are sitting into that generation where, earlier we used to have TV commercials,
Mm-hmm.
or local kirana shop as the first visibility of our product we used to get any new product into the market.
Right.
But if you ask me today, we have our phone, right?
Right.
Is the one-stop shop for anything which we want.
Yep.
Starting with Amazon or Flipkart, the first movers into
Yep.
this market. So now we have Blinkit and Instamart, which is a 10-minute delivery for anything you want.
Right.
So this
Right.
is the shift. This is the change happened. People going into the market to people getting into everything in their home. That has
Right.
changed completely the dynamics now.
Yep.
And the future is also in a completely new direction. The advanced beauty tech is the term which is currently going on into our market,
Okay.
and companies like L'Oreal are already working towards direction, and I hope most of the brands will lead towards those directions. So these are the changes I've seen till now.
Wow. Okay, perfect. So, thank you so much for sharing this. And being into the cosmetic industry, right? So, every industry has an illusion, something, outsiders believe that far from reality. So, if you could help me to clear one illusion for everyone who's entering your field, you can share would it be, and why does it matter?
Literally, there are a number of myths related to beauty industry,
Mhm.
right? But the one critical which I see in general unit is, that the beauty world is all about glamour and overnight success. You get a product, viral product in a week or so, with the right marketing or a nice product formula, and then it's a win-win. But it's not in the reality, right? Most of the successful brands or the product into the market are even from the D2C or the national brands. They're all have invested heavily into R&D, built a product from scratches with months of development, and then ran a lot of clinical trials to get the right efficacy of the product, and also kept a very keen eye on the safety and compatibility, on those products which are reaching to the shelf life. So it may look simpler from the people on the outside, but it's not. It's a very critical stage of execution.
Right.
And if you add up the marketing, sales, and digital technology today, it's a more complex process rather than a overnight success plan.
Right, right, right. So as you share that it is a very complex, process. But can you walk us through what a day in a life look like? Someone who is in your role.
Yeah. Typically, here when you say about a day or life, it's very hard to put it into words, right? Because a lot of things happens in a way, right?
Right.
But one of the hidden truth which I came through this cycle is of the product development in R&D.
Hmm.
A lot of things go unnoticed, so no one knows. Even the company stops, or even the consumers don't know how
Right.
much time and effort it goes for the development of the
Right.
product. Scientists or formulators work day and night to get into
Right.
this shape, right? At
Exactly.
organization, and yeah, so at the organizational level, even the top tables of the decision makers, you will
Right.
very hard to find a R&D chair there.
Right.
So that's the hard truth about, at organizational level, but there are many reasons to it, either
Right.
maybe at the organizational level or even at the R&D level.
Right.
But never mind, I'll just move into your question, which is on the day in
Because
life,
the
right?
thing is, like, many people see the outcome of your work. they,
Yes.
they they say that the work is good, but really they are connected with the process.
So the product which you see in the market, right? Let's take any product, a face wash.
Mhm.
It may look, it's a single product with some MRP, and you can use it for blah
Mhm.
blah things. But if you go into the backstage, when it's all started from a very simple idea, so a
Mhm.
formulator starts the day with the very first brainstorming of ideas,
Mhm.
moving to one idea, then
Mhm.
going into the lab, making that formula with multiple trials over it.
Mhm.
Okay, understanding the process, instrument, observations, stability, testing, and everything. Once the day ends, the fight, either the formula wins by you get a viable product, or may you get a failure that gives you a learning on that, then that what cannot be done, right? So again, the next day, the same play, the same conqueror, but with different
With
challenges.
different
So
challenges.
so the trial goes on, with more wider and complex ideas,
Right.
but these are all go unnoticed. So if a
Exactly.
product like a face wash have been on the shelf, it may had around 20 or 50 iterations before it reached to that level. Yeah, so this is the back end which works before we get the viable product.
Right, right, right. So this
So
is a very complex process, and I really salute the people like you who's working day and night just to get the reliable product in the cosmetic industry. Thank you so much for sharing this. So, following up with the same, questions, I have one more, interesting thing to ask. That what is the misconception about the people, those who are in this particular industry? Because something you wish more people should understood about this particular thing.
One of the burning question comes out, which I've seen from day-to-day understanding, which is on, whether natural or synthetic personal care products are good or not, right? So
Hmm.
there's a big debate already going on. A lot of data is
Hmm.
already available. I'll rather touch a very critical variant.
Okay.
You see a lot of product with percentage actives given into it, or
Right.
the SPF products, which is mostly the
Right.
sun care.
Right.
So you see a lot of numbers, and people think the more the number is, the higher the efficacy is, but it's
Hmm.
not, right?
Okay. Oh.
I'll take a very common example. You've seen a lot of AHA, BHA serums into the market,
Right.
which contains, these are all exfoliating actives, which are
Right.
generally used to remove the dead skin
Right.
cells. So earlier it was started with somewhere around 2% or 5%. Now it moved to 10%, and if you can even find a product which is having 25% of this ingredient, which is insane.
Okay.
uh, it is very important, that the people like a formulator or a marketing understanding, they
Mhm.
should know the limit up to which these actives to reach to the consumer's hand,
Okay.
because consumer doesn't have the dermatological testing understanding.
Okay.
So anything reaching to their shelf is very critical.
Okay.
So every dose increased, it is specific for the skin conditions. Okay, it is not like good for all skin type.
Oh.
So this is one problem which is going on in the
Right.
direction. If I
Right.
take the example of same, the SPF, there are
Okay.
a lot of debate going on SPF. We have product like 50, 60, 70 SPF. Yeah, even somewhere in 100 you will find out if
Yeah.
you
Right.
search for it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But being in India, we have a tropical climate. We hardly need SPF 30 for body or SPF 50 for face, which works well. I don't think so. We need a 60, 70, or 80 what's the number.
Hmm.
But these numbers, the higher the number doesn't mean they are longer duration of action. Instead, you always, anyhow, you have to reapply after 2 hours or 3 hours
Right.
if you are on longer duration action. So, uh, what is the bad side of this SPF? If you are having a higher SPF product, that if either you have a very heavy formula which
Right.
contains a lot of these actives of SPF and leading to breakouts on your skins like a sensitive skin, which is not good. Okay, because it's not for every skin type.
Exactly.
Secondly, if it is a mineral sunscreen, you will find a
Mhm.
very chalky effect. A white cast comes out on your face,
Okay.
which is another problem. So,
Okay.
in a nutshell, if you ask me, a balance is important.
Right.
Understanding the skin is very important,
Right.
and then addressing it accordingly. Right?
Right.
If you have normal skin issues related to this, if you have acute skin issues, you can go ahead with the products.
Right.
But if you have very chronic issues, very hard to go through issues, you should always go to the dermatologist. They can suggest you the right product instead of using anything blindly,
Right.
right? So a pre-understanding is very necessary. So this is one of the very major
Yeah.
misconception going
Right.
on right now in the market.
Oh, that's really valuable for the audience, because this is completely misunderstood by large people, those who are not in this particular industry. So I have one more question followed by the same thing. Like, say, if someone who is non-techie or who is not in this particular field today, so what skills or mindset would you suggest to our audience so that they can start strong?
Related to consumer, you are asking?
Yeah, anyone who is willing to give a start in this particular direction, who is not in this particular
I'll
field.
cover both. Yeah. So in case of consumer units, more about reading the label. This is a
Hmm.
very good concept. Going through reading the label, you have everything available on Google. So
Okay.
it's more about minimum giving time and before choosing a product. So that is one thing consumer can do as a very start point.
Hmm.
Coming to the question related to the field, the very
Right.
freshest entering into this field,
Yeah.
what they can go through.
Right.
So typically, the personal care or cosmetic market is such industry where you
Mhm.
have a talent from every sphere of science.
Okay.
So even if a formulator come from as simple as a BSc in chemistry or a B Farm or a M Farm or B Tech
Okay.
in coil technology, so they can enter into the R&D domain. If
Oh.
you ask me geographically,
Mm-hmm.
students, coming from Maharashtra, so
Okay.
there's specific course on cosmetics are there into the system, which
Wow.
people can take up and they can directly enter into this industry,
Okay.
right? So this is a big industry which is going through Maharashtra, which is having a
Mm-hmm.
lot of impact on this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Coming to cross-functional teams, for example, the quality team, you will find quality assurance people from different spheres entering into this
Mm-hmm.
space, or even some process technologists who
Mm-hmm.
are the midpoints between the formula at lab to formula at factory.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see there is a lot of qualifications already there into the system which can cater this market,
Wow.
right? So in a nutshell, whether it is a basic science or a pharma graduate or any tech industry people,
Mm-hmm.
they have a specific scope into this market. And with the advent of technology, even the tech IT is also into the one step which is kind of getting into this market.
Right.
Companies like L'Oreal and Dyson are working towards this direction to get some technology
Mm-hmm.
related to early age advanced tech are also entering into the market. So
Mm-hmm.
the area is wide, and I would rather suggest students to look for these different roles
Right.
and find their ways into this market.
Right. Perfect. That's really valuable advice. Thank you so much for sharing this, because people from different technical background, they can also understand how they can proceed to this particular field. Thank you so much for sharing this. So, Suraj, I know this already been covered, but I want to ask something different. Not about skills, not about tools, but about internal equipment, you know, about personal habit, mindset, or you can say the philosophy that has become your invisible advantage. That something you really, or you know, something you rely on quietly every single day.
That's a tough question. There are multiple things, but one thing coming up in my mind, like which I generally follow every day, is knowing my limits actually.
Oh.
So if I know my limits, it is very easy for me to work towards that direction where I can upregulate this and move to expand it more to get into the horizon. So this is one thing which I do every day. So I'll suggest the new age formulators or new entrants to focus on this direction, because in our line, failures are the primary learning curves rather than
Right.
the winning product at market.
Right.
I'll give you a very simple example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a very small habit which formulators misses out sometimes
Mm-hmm.
in the very early stages, that they want to formulate, but they don't know that there are thousands of raw materials available in their lab,
Right.
and it is very hard to find, which is there at what place. So
Right.
if you don't know, it is very hard to do the development. So you will
Mm-hmm.
be having limited resources. So this is one thing, to understanding your limit in every aspect.
Athletes. Wow.
Similarly, for example, I tell you, the brands, the way product launches. Similarly, there are raw material launches happens, new active launches happens, into the industry. It every month or week and so.
Mm-hmm.
So, if a formulator is not focusing onto those directions or not aware of those directions, then it will be already using existing technology,
Right.
and which may get rudimentary in time. So, it is
Right.
very important to know your limits,
Right.
expand your knowledge, and move ahead. Before the
Right.
things go into different direction.
Right, 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 right. That is really good. So, usually we ask for advices, and you already had given many things to the beginners, or even the people those who wanted to, coming in this particular field. So, I just wanted to flip this, and I wanted to ask one thing more. What is one particular thing beginners do that experts silently admire, and they wish that themselves they have not lost?
Uh, this is very dependent on organizational level. There is some places you have enough space to breathe and get some right direction. Some places you have very strict norms to get through, right?
Right.
But based on my personal opinion, any early learner, right,
Mm-hmm.
they should always focus to become an all-rounder,
Mm-hmm.
in their part which they are doing it,
Right.
and plus into the admin fields. For example, it is very easy to get into the comfort zone where
Mm-hmm.
in what you are doing already,
Right.
and learning nothing extra in your earlier age career, which makes a big gap.
Right.
Okay, maybe you get good into your product line, but you don't understand the other
Right.
arms of it.
Right.
So, for example, it is no harm to no harm in understanding that how the testing works on your product,
Okay.
how the analytical aspect works, how
Right.
the clinical studies work onto your product.
Right.
If you have a basic understanding of all this always helps in your future developments.
Right.
Right. So this is very important where people has to focus to being an all-rounder by knowing at least the basics of these uh, core spaces.
Right.
Okay, so if you ask me, any good manager or any leader who is focusing into these early age employees, he
Right.
always try to find those kind of people who
Mhm.
have good learning traits. Hard working is one thing, but smartly learning is very important.
Exactly. Right.
So at that very moment, the these early learners become a new entrant to become a developing asset. So this is where they have to focus.
Right.
I've done it a lot, being
Mhm.
a very early stage mover from a pharma side to cosmetic side.
Wow.
I learned a lot and always kept learning till now. So it helped me into getting the best of my world here.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So, time for a quick rapid fire thing. One habit that keeps you productive.
There are many, but I think retrying,
Mhm.
you have to retry. One trial failed, go for the next, until you get the right result. So reattempt or retry is the productive way.
Wow, that's great. A trend you think that will shape the future in your field?
Technology,
Yeah.
beauty with technology is the next advent, right? Already we are with beauty with biotechnology. Beauty with technology is the next advent.
Perfect. One myth in your industry you wanted to break it forever.
You will laugh on this. Influencers know everything, but it's
Right.
not. Yeah, I think you should take the cues from these people, but it's more important to check your own reliable sources too.
Exactly. Right. 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 That's really. So, one more advice you will giving to the younger self.
To younger self,
Yeah.
networking.
Oh.
So the more network you have in your field, the more people you know, right? The more resources you have, it will always a gem to have. So that is one advice I would give to the people.
Wow. That's really great. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. So before we wrap, our audience who is listening right now, and you could leave them with one thought, something they can carry into their personal or professional life. What would it be?
Professionally, I would rather suggest, to having a reading habit. Many have people have said that, but I feel it is very important. It may be a book, it may be an article, it may be any research paper. Keep a default time for every reading for this. This is a very huge impact when you will be having a long run in your career, which is priceless. So professionally, yes, reading habit. Personally, I think it's more personal front. I think it is more like finding a safe place. By the safe place, I mean a person or a place where you have the authority, or which you can feel like your own. Because in the time when you have some chaos in your life, in your professional life, in your personal life, this is the place where the transformation happens, the balancing thinking comes out, and that gives you the strong willpower. So you should always have a safe place for yourself.
Thank you so much, Suraj. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, insights, and experiences. Conversation like this remind us why communities matters, right? Because knowledge becomes more powerful when you share it. So, for everyone, those who are listening, you can book a session with Suraj through and learn directly from the expertise, right? Follow us for more conversation, more listening, and more learnings, and more opportunities to grow together. Thank you so much for joining.